I'm Bailey Davis, and I'm a member at Harvest. I felt really stuck. Couldn't get past just paying my bills, and that's all I was doing, was paying them, and I wasn't able to just move forward or save any money. It started to work when I was able to start a savings account, and then also when I paid off one of my credit cards. It was a breath of fresh air. Like, I had all of this room. I didn't have to worry about my next paycheck coming in before my bills were due. I had room to spare, and it was just a relief. My life right now looks more flexible, and just I put things on my debit card and I don't feel like a cringe, like, oh, can I fit it on there? I have room, and yes, I can pay for this with cash. I never knew that managing your money could affect your life, every aspect of your life. It makes me feel like I have more air to breathe in other areas because I don't have to worry about that as much. I think you should give this class an opportunity because you get something no matter what your age is. I had people who were retired in my class, and younger couples, and at all stages of life you can learn something different from this, and you can learn from each other about your different experiences, and it helps you just to build off one another and to just continue to grow.
Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera.
I'm Joy Baeumel.
And I'm Mike Baeumel.
Well, we're a two-income family, but for some reason we would always struggle with saving any money. Sometimes we would struggle with, how are we going to pay an emergency bill that would come up, and it just seemed like we could never get ahead.
Every time we would try to come up with a budget, or we would try a new plan to try to save some money and not just spend it all, we would fail. We had debts, and it just felt like we were greatly overwhelmed, and we would never see the end of it. We were making our bills, we were getting our bills paid, but we just couldn't seem to get ahead, and it was frustrating. It was the first thing we tried where we actually had a roadmap. We had debts, and before you would just seem overwhelmed because you have this debt payment and that debt payment and this payment, and then this would break or that would break. And there was just no plan, and we just kept going, and we'd use a credit card to pay it off, or get a home equity loan to pay for this or pay for that. And Financial Peace University class taught us how to get out of debt. It told us step by step what we needed to do, where we needed to focus first, then move on to the next, and then move on to the next. And by just simply following those plans, it gave us hope, it gave us, we got excited about it, and we were starting to see some success. For me, it was seeing that we actually not only quit using a credit card, and I wondered how we was going to make our bills, but that first month we had $700 left over that we were able to put onto debt. And then the very next month, we even got hit with life happening and had an axle go out on a car, and we had to make some big repairs. And even doing that, at the end of that month, we were still able to put another $600 onto paying off the debt. Before, if you'd have said we started to budget and do this, would we have any extra money, I would have thought we were going to not have any money, where in fact we were seeing that it was actually working.
I feel a lot less stress. I've always been the one that has paid the bills, so then I would be the one, I think, that was more stressed about how are we going to pay this or that. We do car insurance every 6 months, and so you always plan like, oh, I should put back that money every month, so when you get to the end of 6 months you have it. Truth be told, we weren't doing that before. That money would end up going somewhere else, and then we'd struggle with like, oh gosh, we have this big car insurance bill and how we're going to pay it. Well, now it's there's no stress because we're budgeting for it, and it's in the budget, and the money's sitting there when we need it. So for me, it's a lot less stressful, and seeing our debt dwindle down. We started the budget last March, and we think by April or May we'll be debt-free except for our mortgage, so we're excited about that.
I was laughing because I forgot what the question was. And I was thinking, what was the question? Because
I'm Tom Kotnik, and this is
Shirley
my wife, Shirley.
Kotnik.
Well, the fact that you wanted to get rid of credit cards, the fact that Dave wanted you to pay with cash, because you felt the money going out. It wasn't just slipping a card through a reader and wait till the end of the month to worry about it. So we ended up, we go to the grocery store now, we have a list, and we figure out what it would cost to buy it, and we buy what we have, and we don't just pick things off the shelf because they look good. I think when we realized that we could pay everything for cash, and when we ran out of cash, we ran out of buying things. It was a lot less stressful life that way than worrying about bills all at the end of the month.
We had a budget now, which we never bothered with our whole life. But it makes it just a little bit easier, and we can see where things are going, and we pay cash now for everything.
I say it's a lot less stressful. We watch what we're doing a little more carefully. We just don't look at something and decide we want it. We decide if we need it first.
We learned from his book that we did some things wrong, like buying our insurance, and if we had it to do again, if we had had the book, we would have done it differently. We would have probably only bought term insurance and things like that.
We're encouraging our grandkids to read that book, learn how to use it. They've got a good foundation, and if they keep going, if they just don't lose their head over buying stuff. And that's why we bought them the book for Christmas.
It wasn't something we gave them because we thought they were doing wrong or that they got a lot of credit bills or anything like that. We just wanted them to have it as a tool,
As a reference.
as a guide, so that when they buy a car, when they buy a home, when they do all these things, they'll have something to fall back on and see, give them a few ideas on how to do those things.
I'm Jen.
I'm Brian.
Oh, we're the Stelzers. We had income coming in, and we had a lot of income going out, but we didn't necessarily know where it was going. We had lots of bills and a decent income, and we weren't making any traction.
I think one of the things we were always fighting over money.
Yeah, where it was going to go.
Where was it going to go? Where, we should pay this, we should pay that. And I think that's where we both were always struggling a lot.
I love him, but I really wanted to strangle him every month when it came time to sit down and do bills.
I think the feeling's mutual. For myself, I never looked at the bills. I never really sat down and figured out. I let it upon her, be like, okay, figure it out. Because when we were arguing, I didn't want nothing to do with it. And then when we did the class, I became more aware of what was going on and more involved. And I think that helped quite a bit on my side and on both of ours towards the end of the class.
Yeah. All we had to do was listen to what the steps were and do what they said. And it was biblically based. So I couldn't argue with the plan. I couldn't rationalize my way out of it because it's pretty black and white. Borrow is slave to the lender. It's black and white. So it was easy to follow the plan and get the momentum and keep going. So we have 4 beautiful children. 11 and under now. They're expensive and they get sick at the best times, said no mom ever. So we started doing sinking funds. And so we had money allotted for like medical expenses. Well, Anthony decided to get pretty sick. He's our oldest. And so being a nurse, I don't take people to the doctor. Like, you just don't do that. Well, once everybody got sick, we decided to go to the doctor.
It was time to go.
And that was $100 copay and then like another $50 in medications. And for the first time, I didn't think twice about taking them because of the cost or going to the pharmacy because we had it. Well, he's still alive and we don't argue. Yeah.
We're happy.
It's so weird because you would think money wouldn't really have a huge impact on your relationship, but we've been married 12 years.
12 years now.
And I love him, I don't want to say more, but differently now because we communicate so much better. Like, we're not arguing about the money. We're not arguing about anything. Like, we have learned how to communicate in a way
So much better.
that we're not at each other's throats. And I think just knowing that even though we're in baby step 2 and we're going to be here for a little bit, like we're not done in 2 months or 6 months, like we're looking at a year. And, but it's easier. It's less stress. Even if we get a bump in a road, we know how to handle it. and we know how to communicate, which has made so many different things so much better.
It's easy to sit down now at the dining room table and lay all the bills out and be like, okay, we could pay them all. We even got money left over. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're not going to pay this one this month. Now the debt collector's calling.
The dinner table is no longer a wrestling rink. It is just, you know, we have our family meals there when we sit down there to discuss bills. It's like we're reaching our goals. How much closer are we? What can we check off the list now? The end. Good? Okay.
And cut.
What's your name?
Ryan Quatman.
What was the problem you were having before you discovered FPU?
In the last couple of years, my life has changed significantly. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Vera. It was 2 years ago, and I now have a wonderful little daughter, Leah. And all of those things are very expensive. And that became something that I started to stress over, and it became a problem in my personal life. It was something that kind of took me over, and I was checking bank accounts regularly, and it was something that I did. And my wife, Vera, she's the free spirit of the two of us, and it didn't seem to bother her. Neither of us, it's not like we spent a ton of money. We weren't spending outside of our means, but I was just very aware of our finances, and any time that we wanted to make a purchase, she would come to me and ask, and I seemed to be the one that was saying yes or no, and I was the bad guy, and I couldn't seem to, get a good conversation going between the two of us where it didn't seem like I was just saying no because I was being mean. So it was a stress on our marriage, and it was something that was bothering me. So that was our problem.
And where is this Vera? Isn't this a couples interview?
Yes. Hi, honey. Vera is at home taking care of our lovely daughter who just got her 4-month shots, who has a fever, sir.
What did the frustration feel like as you tried to solve that problem?
Frustrations. Yeah, so as we were trying to solve those things for financial peace, it just didn't go well. It wasn't smooth. There wasn't a conversation. I would get stressed out about it. It was something I thought about before I went to bed, and first thing I thought of in the morning. And like I said, we weren't struggling. It's not like we were barely making ends meet. We were doing fine, but it was just a stressor in my life. And those frustrations were very present in my life, and that leaked over into how I would converse with Vera. And it was clear to me and to Vera that we were, this was something that had a bind on us, and me in particular. And Vera wanted it fixed. She was saying this is not healthy, and that's where we were at. Those were the frustrations we were having.
Tell us what life looks like now that your problem is solved or being solved.
Definitely being solved. My life is, I'm working on other struggles that I have, and financially, I'm telling my money what to do, and I know where it's going, and it's not something that I stress about and that I have anxiety over. It is, it's managed, and it feels really good to know that there's a plan to get out of debt, and there's a plan to be able to save money for my daughter's college, and all those things are steps, and it's very laid out for you where I don't need to be worrying about saving for my daughter's college until we are completely out of debt.
That's great. Thanks, Ryan.
No problem. Very nice. Yeah, you're special.
It was difficult, and it was scary at times, seeing all the medical bills continue to come in, and not sure what we were going to do. Not sure how much my insurance was going to cover, because at the beginning of this we thought, oh, I'm young and healthy, and so I had taken all my medical savings I had and used it to help John and some stuff that he had, and so I thought I wasn't going to get sick. And so then when I started getting sick and didn't have anything saved up, and I really didn't know a whole lot about my medical insurance and how it worked, because I had a high deductible, and I didn't know how much it paid after that. So we were pretty nervous on it.
Well, it was biblically based. I think, was the big difference. And the man teaching it was Christian, and he gave you Christian principles throughout the training. The teaching was like common sense. It wasn't so hard that we couldn't understand it. It was put to us in really easy format for us to do.
And we have stuff that we felt that we could do. It wasn't stuff that, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to sell my furniture in my house and everything else. And it was stuff that, okay, we can be smarter about what we're doing. We can not go out to eat as much, and then we can put a budget, sit down and have a budget, and not buy just whatever I want when I go to the grocery store. As John will always be like, you're throwing half your groceries away. Why do you get this? It's going bad. And we wasted a lot of food, but we thought ahead, planned our meals, and planned our grocery list, and didn't just buy everything because it looked good at the grocery store.
Tina came to me and she goes, wow, we're making double payments on our truck, and if we keep doing this, we're gonna have it paid off in like 12 months.
And I come in, I was like excited, I'd go to the bank, and I'd go to the bank early in the beginning of the month as soon as I could, and bring home the receipt showing how much we had left and how much we had paid, and then we were able to knock down one of my medical bills at a time and another medical bill, and so we did it a little bit at a time, but we saw it going away. And so when we started seeing it, we saw that we had a plan and we stuck to the plan. It was kind of addicting to want. I can't wait until the beginning of the next month to be able to pay the next bill. And so it was exciting to see it dwindle down, and it was stuff that we could do. And we just, I didn't go spend money here, and I would cut back on what I usually spent, and didn't spend money frivolously. We used cash, which made me think about, and both of us think about how we were spending it.
We used the envelopes to go to the grocery store with our envelope of cash. If we ran out, you just didn't buy anything else. You can breathe.
And we start saving our money so that we have an emergency fund in case something happens, and we start building up our HSA so we have our health savings money. And I don't plan on I'll always be healthy, because we know that emergencies happen and things happen, and it doesn't always go as planned. So
it's fun to be generous. God's given us some opportunities to give to others and help people out in our ministries. It just feels great to be able to do that and know that you're not hurting yourself, but you're just being generous with what God has provided for you.
It was a bit scary when we felt like we were gonna have to cut back and stuff. It's like I didn't want to stop giving and doing things for people, and so we're just for a time we're still gonna give our tithes and our the things that we normally give to, but we're just gonna cut back, and then we'll be able to save and be able to do that again. So it feels good to be able to do that again and be smart about our decisions and tell our money where to go instead of it just going away and being gone. So now we can take charge of our money.
What was it that made you guys sign up for FPU?
We had looked into it about a year ago and actually had purchased the online class, and I didn't go in. We started it, didn't finish it, but I thought, well, the church is going to do it. I'm going to go all in this time. I knew we were doing good, but I wanted us to be able to do better.
So I heard of it like a few years ago, and then I saw people's testimonies, like they pay off their houses in their 30s and stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, like they probably make good money. But once we saw it at church here and saw that like people that we know and stuff are actually doing it and were successful, that kind of made us interested in checking it out, I guess.
Yep. So how are you guys more free now than before you started?
I've noticed just in a few months I'm more free to do more, not for say ourselves, but for others.
I don't know. I think she had mentioned earlier when we were talking about it. It's more just like mentally free. You can think clear. Everything's more planned out. It's not as much of your life revolves around your money, because you sit down, you do your budget, everything's laid out, and you're good to go, and you have less worries, and you're paying things off quicker than you should. And so I think, a whole lot better that way, I guess.
We're paying off debt, but I can still tithe into the church, but I can support K-Love. I can support Acacia of Hope. I've even been able to send a couple checks to a church back home in West Virginia.
How did you guys grow spiritually during this time?
It gives you a little bit more trust for him. Just do what you're supposed to do.
It's good because I reflect back to what Dave Ramsey says in regards to the biblical way of handling our money. So it's making me more aware of how God wants us to use and utilize the financial blessings that He continues to give us.
If we would have had this opportunity before, like if I would have had the job before, we would have been irresponsible about it. And I think now that like we're doing it the right way, the way that He wants us to, then He gives us this blessing on top of it.
When are you guys planning on being completely debt free?
Other than mortgage? Less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Less than 2 years. And then at that, we don't have a whole lot further to go on that either. So hopefully we'll be in good shape in a short time.
With things going at this pace that we're at, it's because it's mainly my student loans that have been in deferment forever because we didn't think we could afford them. Probably 3 years. We could be out from under that, and and that's including our mortgage.
So what would you tell someone that were thinking about taking FQ, or that thought about it this past time but didn't pull the trigger and actually go through the class? What would you tell that person?
Do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
just do it.
it's absolutely, there's nothing you can learn. It doesn't matter. Like Pastor Tony said, anyone can learn from the program. It literally teaches you all kinds of things. Whether you knew it or didn't, the way he puzzle pieces things together, and he constantly refers back to the Bible and the way we should do things, and it's a constant reminder throughout the whole program.
But now that we're going through it, how much God can help you in your finances and take that stress away.
When I first heard about it, yeah, these people probably have like these great jobs and stuff like that, and it literally doesn't matter like how much money you make, it's what you do with your money, and He teaches you exactly what to do.
We were doing good, but we weren't doing as good as we should have been in regards to how God wanted us to do. And to sit there and go from just say last November when we purchased the kit to now here at the end of March saying we can be out of debt in 3.5, 4 years, where I thought I would never have my student loans paid off before retirement because we weren't doing it properly.